They say if you boil water slow enough, the frog won't jump out. From the outside, our life looked like a catalog spread. Morning coffees in matching mugs, Saturday brunches at that overpriced cafe with ironic wallpaper, and couple photos lit like they belonged on a holiday card. Tabitha and I were the couple that made other people roll their eyes. Too happy, too polished, too, well, rehearsed. But happiness, real happiness, doesn't need rehearsals. And ours? Ours was choreographed down to the last blink. I noticed it first in the small things. She used to hum in the mornings, off-key, and always the same 3 bars of some indie song she never remembered the name of. One day it stopped. Then came the silences at dinner. Not awkward. Practiced. Like she was saving her words for someone else. We still held hands in public. Still smiled for selfies. But her grip was lighter now. Like she was holding a balloon, not a hand. And our smiles. They never reached our eyes. But no one notices that in photos, do they? People say the heart knows. But mine? Mine just negotiated. Explained things away. She's tired. Work stress. Hormones. Mercury in retrograde. I convinced myself it was nothing. Because the alternative? The alternative was something I wasn't ready to name. She started going to the gym more. New leggings. New routines. Late classes with a trainer named Kate. Sounded like a cologne ad. Looked like one too, based on the glimpses I caught on her phone screen when she thought I wasn't looking. I didn't ask. Because asking made things real. Instead, I cooked. I cleaned. I played husband like it was a role I was lucky to audition for. And maybe I was. Maybe I still am. But back then, I didn't think I was playing. I thought I was living. The night it all started to shift, I remember vividly. We were sitting on the couch. A documentary playing. Something about whales, I think. She was scrolling her phone, barely blinking. I made a joke. She laughed, polite and empty. Then came the moment. So small, it wouldn't have made it into a novel. She got a message. Smiled. Turned the screen away. And I felt it. Not jealousy. Not suspicion. Something quieter. A hollowing. She said she had a girls' weekend coming up. Spa. Wine. Manicures. I nodded, like the perfect husband does. Told her to have fun. Even packed her favorite robe while she forgot to. And when she left, I stood in the doorway longer than I should have. Watching. Waiting. Listening to the silence she left behind. It was a quiet so deep, I swear I could hear the echoes of everything we weren't saying anymore. I poured myself a drink. Sat in the chair she hated because it creaked. Let the quiet wrap around me like a warning. Something was off, but I didn't know what. Not yet. I only knew the water was starting to boil. And the frog? He was still pretending it was just a warm bath. She didn't take much with her, but she took something I hadn't realized was gone. The weekend she left for the spa trip, the house felt unfamiliar in the worst way. Still filled with her things, but empty of her presence. Like walking into a museum exhibit of someone else's life. I poured her wine. The good bottle. Lit candles. Set the table. Not because I thought she'd come back early, but because I needed to remember what it felt like to wait for someone who used to hurry home. She didn't text. Not that night. Not the next. On Sunday, she sent a photo. Her in a white robe, glass of champagne in hand, face mask on, surrounded by faceless girlfriends cropped out with surgical precision. The caption? Finally relaxing. It was supposed to reassure me. But that robe? It wasn't the one I packed. And the background? Hardwood floors. Not the tile I remembered from the hotel she said she booked. I zoomed in. A detail man's curse. The kind of lamps they don't put in spa suites. The kind of mirror that belongs in a downtown apartment. The kind of setting where a woman doesn't need girlfriends, just one man who isn't me. I didn't react. Not then. I spent the rest of the evening watching her favorite show, the one she used to binge until 2 a.m., mouthing along with characters who knew more about fake love than I did about my real marriage. That night, I slept on her side of the bed. It smelled like nothing. That scared me more than anything else. Monday morning, she came back with a bouquet of lies. Small, pretty, well-arranged. She kissed me on the cheek. Said, "Thanks for giving me space. I feel so much better." Then she laughed, that short, sharp kind of laugh that lands like broken glass. "You should go somewhere sometime too," she added, walking past me, bag still unpacked, phone already in her hand again. I wanted to ask where she really went. I wanted to ask who he was. But I didn't. Because I wasn't ready for answers. Not yet. Instead, I smiled. Told her I was glad she enjoyed it. and I watched her walk upstairs like she hadn't just burned something sacred down to the studs. I didn't go to work that day. Called in. Sat at the kitchen table for 3 hours staring at a spoon. It wasn't grief. It wasn't rage. It was the quiet beginning of clarity. Because when a person lies to you that smoothly, it means they've rehearsed. It means they've practiced on mirrors, in cars, maybe even with him. That's when I realized I was no longer her husband. I was her alibi. And if I was going to survive this, I need to start listening differently. Not to her words, but to the silences. And they were getting louder every day. It only took 9 words to gut me, and she said them with a smirk. Underscore. Naomi looked right at her mother, wine glass in hand, and with that smile, the one she used to aim at me, she said, with a man who can't even satisfy me? Not likely. She giggled after. Giggled. Like she hadn't just detonated a bomb under the dinner table. Forks froze midair. Glasses stilled. Someone coughed, awkward and sharp. Her father blinked like he'd heard wrong. Her mother's lips pressed into a line so tight it could have snapped. Me? I just sat there, staring into the candlelight, hearing the rush of blood in my ears like sirens nobody else could hear. I didn't shout. I didn't even breathe. I just stood up, quietly, pushed my chair back like it was a funeral, and I was leaving the wake early. Outside, the night air hit me like truth. Cold, unapologetic. Then came a voice behind me. Not hers. His. Marcus. Her brother. He looked like someone had drained the color from his face. She crossed a line tonight, he said quietly. And then, no warm-up. I saw her. Last week. With her ex. No thunder. No bolt from the sky. Just that. I turned slowly. My voice wasn't mine when I asked, where? Millbrook. Outside a hotel. Holding hands. He paused. She kissed him before they walked inside. That kiss hit harder than her words ever could. Harder than the smirk. Everything rearranged itself. All the late meetings. The distant eyes. The rehearsed fights. The cold shoulder dressed up in sarcasm. I didn't scream. I didn't demand names or receipts. I just asked, can you prove it? He nodded. Yeah, I took photos. And just like that, I had it. Not rage. Not even sadness. But the first piece of something new. The kind of pain that doesn't explode. It simmers. Strategizes. It rewrites the script. I didn't say goodbye. Just walked to my car. Left the party behind. And her laughter, fake, tinny, followed me like a shadow I was about to outrun. She came home to 2 wine glasses. Only one was meant for her. Underscore. I didn't sleep that night. Not because I couldn't. Because I wouldn't. Sleep is a luxury you lose when your mind turns into a crime scene. Looping footage of your wife kissing another man like it's security cam B-roll. Low res. No sound. Just enough clarity to keep you from ever forgetting. The next morning, I made her coffee. Like always. 2 sugars. Oat milk. Cinnamon stick on the side. The one she chews on when she's nervous. I don't know why I did it. Habit, maybe. Or maybe I wanted to watch her sip it, oblivious, while I replayed last night's discovery on repeat. She walked in humming. Hair damp. Wearing the sweatshirt I bought her 3 anniversaries ago. She kissed my cheek. I flinched. Barely. She didn't notice. She never did. She sat down at the counter, opened her laptop, and scrolled through emails like our life hadn't been pronounced dead 12 hours ago. I said nothing. She said nothing. The silence between us. Thicker than any argument. Then, when she left for work, she dropped her backup phone into her purse, the one she thinks I don't know about. But I do. Because I listen when I'm supposed to forget. I watch when I'm supposed to look away. The moment the door closed, I pulled out the spare key. Bathroom sink. Old travel bag. No makeup inside. Just a burner phone wrapped in denial. No password. Sloppy. Messages. Photos. Voice notes. Can't wait for our weekend, Red Heart. One even said, he still thinks we're in a rough patch. That's me. I backed it all up. Folder she'll never find. Encrypted. Buried. And then I placed the phone right back. Zipper angle and all. That night, I didn't bring it up. She made chicken. I set the table. Poured 2 glasses of wine. She asked, why the second glass? I shrugged. Thought you might want to feel like you were still at that hotel. She laughed. Too fast. Didn't ask how I knew. Which told me everything. We ate in silence. Her eyes avoided mine the way criminals avoid cameras. Then she asked, are you okay? I nodded. Never been clearer. She smiled. That fake one. The kind you plaster on a tombstone and pretend it's peace. I sat across from her. Folding chair. Wooden table. One broken marriage, steaming like mashed potatoes nobody wanted. The evidence wasn't just in the phone. It was in her posture, her tone, the way she looked at me like I was wallpaper in a room she didn't plan to keep. I excused myself after dinner, went to the basement, pulled out the old Polaroid from our wedding, her hand on my chest, my eyes closed mid-laugh, her smile still believable. I tore it in half, not out of rage, out of clarity. She left the pieces on the counter that night. Didn't ask, didn't care, which made what I planned next feel less like revenge and more like closure with consequences. If I was a ghost in my own marriage, it was time to haunt. There's something poetic about betrayal. Not the act itself. That's messy, ugly, human. But the echo of it, that's where the poetry lives. In the moments after. In the coffee you still make for someone who's already gone. In the way the bed folds perfectly on one side while the other stays cold. That's where I lived now. In the echo. And it was time I stopped whispering and started listening. She said she had another seminar. Marketing strategies. Downtown. All day. The kind with catered lunch and breakout sessions and coffee breath conversations about branding alignment. I nodded, kissed her cheek, told her, crush it. She smiled like she believed I meant it. But here's the thing, liars believe in performances. And she was a Tony-winning actress in her own life. I waited 15 minutes after she left. Then I pulled out the key card I wasn't supposed to have. The hotel? I'd found it weeks ago. Her messages were lazy. She never cleared location data. I tracked it down like I was solving a crossword puzzle I already knew the answers to. I walked in like I belonged. And I did. Because if you've lived in delusion long enough, stepping into truth feels like trespassing. Room 814. The door opened with a soft beep. No dramatics. No music cue. Just them. She wasn't there yet. But the wine was. 2 glasses. One with lipstick. Not her shade. The bed was turned down. Too neatly. I sat in the chair by the window, just outside the frame of whatever movie she thought she was directing. I didn't wait long. The lock clicked. She entered first, laughing, light on her feet in a way I hadn't seen in years. Her hair different, her eyes younger. She looked alive. Behind her, him, Julian, the colleague, the one she said was harmless. He carried the takeout bag like it was tradition. I watched them move around each other like people who'd practiced being close. I watched her take off her coat and slide into a man's arms who wasn't her husband. And that's when I walked in. No knock. No warning. Just me. With the keycard in one hand and all my illusions in the other. She froze. Mid-laugh. Julian blinked like he'd seen a ghost. I didn't say a word. Just scanned the room like I was checking for my self-respect. The glasses. The takeout. The way she had her shoes off like she lived there. I turned to her, calm as breath. There was no seminar, was there? Her mouth opened, but nothing came out. He stepped forward, hands half raised, like he was trying to part fog. I think you should leave, he said, almost apologetic. I smiled. Not friendly, not cruel, just awake. I think you should sit down. He didn't, but he didn't get closer either. Naomi finally found her voice. This isn't what it looks like. I nodded slowly. It looks like a woman who promised me forever, choosing her afternoon around a man who wears cologne you once said smelled like a car commercial. She flinched. So did he. I didn't. I'm not here to fight, I added, stepping back. I'm here to say goodbye. That broke her. A little. Not enough. But enough. I left before she could say more. Down the hallway. Out into the street. Into a version of my life where I was no longer waiting for her to come home. I didn't go home right away. I drove around. Ended up at a park we used to walk through in winter. The benches were wet. The air was sharp. Everything felt honest. When I got home, I started packing. Not everything. Just enough to send a message. I took the framed photo from our anniversary. The one she posted everywhere. I left the frame. Took the photo. I took my clothes, but not the drawer she always folded. The one where she'd stack my socks like it meant something. That drawer, I emptied into a trash bag. Then I cleaned. Every surface. Every memory. I left the house spotless. Except for one thing. On the bed, I left a single sock. Folded. Right on top of the pillow she always used. The next morning, I dropped a USB into our safety deposit box. Label, truth. Inside, every photo, every message, every hotel timestamp. Not for me. For the lawyer. Because this wasn't about hurting her anymore. This was about ending the performance. She came home that night humming again. That same sharp melody she always used when she thought she'd won. She didn't notice the missing photos. Or the sock. Not at first. She made a smoothie. Called out, "We're out of almond milk." Like nothing happened. Like I hadn't seen her dress hit the floor in a hotel room paid for with my time. I didn't answer. When she finally saw the sock, I heard the silence settle. She called my name. I didn't answer. She texted. I didn't read it. Because I wasn't there. And this time, I wasn't coming back. Not for closure. Not for forgiveness. Not even for revenge. She thought I was folding, but I was loading. Underscore. When she left me, she thought I'd fall apart like a bad movie husband. You know the type. Sits on the floor in sweatpants, surrounded by Chinese takeout and voicemails he doesn't return. But that's not me. I'm the man who folds his socks. That used to be her favorite insult. You're so predictable, L. You even fold your socks like they're waiting for inspection. She meant it as a joke. A jab, really. But what she never understood was, folding isn't about control. It's about readiness. So while she was out there rewriting history in a rented dress, I was organizing the truth one screenshot at a time. I didn't disappear. I repositioned. You'd be amazed what people tell you when they think you're too boring to remember it. I had dates, names, restaurant receipts. I had security Kim stills from hotel lobbies. Her new guy? Rory James called her. Trust fund confidence, zero subtlety. He walked through the world like everyone should clear a path, including me. But I wasn't trying to fight him. I was studying him. His smug little smirks, the hand on her waist like he owned stock in her affection. I saw it all. I stopped sleeping in my truck. Got a short-term lease 3 towns over. Basement apartment. No windows, but clean. Quiet. The kind of place you go when you need the silence to stop screaming. That's where I built it. The file. Labeled Wedding Crashers. It wasn't petty. It was proof. Emails. Hotel bookings. Audio from voice notes she never meant for me to hear. I listened to her say, I just love how Rory makes decisions. Not like LL second guesses everything. But here's the irony. While she was falling for bold moves, I was quietly planning my last one. See, I didn't want her back. I wanted her seen. Not by me. I already knew the truth. By everyone else. Because the thing about people like Naomi is that they survive on reputation. Social currency. Appearances. Her entire world is a stage, and I was the lighting guy pulling the dimmer switch. That's when I made the call. To her father. We hadn't spoken in months. After the dinner disaster, I figured I was out of his will and out of his phone book. But when he picked up, he didn't sound surprised. "El," he said, "I was wondering how long you'd wait." He knew. Not everything, but enough. "She's changed," he said, "and not for the better." So I told him. Just the broad strokes. Not the graphic. Not the emotional. Just the facts. Her double life. The engagement to Rory. The still legally married part. There was a pause. A long one. Then he said, "I'll handle the invites. You just do what you need to do." And with that, the first domino tipped. Her sister reached out next. Lorna. We'd always been close. She sent me the screenshot of the "she said yes" post. Then she sent another. A picture of Naomi at the same lake where I once told her, "Even if you're lost, I'll always be your home." This time, she was alone. The caption? "Some mistakes come with shadows." I didn't respond. Because I wasn't angry anymore. I was in position. See, revenge isn't rage. It's restraint. It's watching someone build their tower and knowing exactly which brick to pull. I reached out to one person. Her event planner. The one organizing the engagement party. Pretended to be a friend of the groom. Said I had surprise video footage for the slideshow. She bought it. Sent me the link to upload. So I uploaded it. Not the whole folder. Just one clip. Just long enough. The kiss outside the hotel. The timestamp. The room number in the corner of the receipt. Her whisper, clear as confession. I don't even feel married anymore. I titled the file, Memories Worth Keeping. Then I logged out. 3 days later, the party happened. I didn't go, but I heard about it. The video was played near the end, right after the childhood photos, right after the slow-motion champagne pours and the generic piano music. Then came the silence, the gasps, the awkward throat clears. Rory stormed out. Naomi ran after him. The planner tried to recover with cake. And I sat in my new apartment, eating frozen pizza in a hoodie she never liked, watching reruns of a show she said was too slow. No one texted me. No one had to. The silence spoke volumes. She didn't call for 2 days. Then she sent a voicemail. "You win," she said, her voice hoarse, cracking. I hope it was worth it. But here's the thing. I didn't win. I ended it. There's a difference. She thought I was folding. But I was loading the chamber of quiet consequences. One move at a time. I never yelled. I never slandered. I didn't throw her things out the window or key a car. I let her bury herself. And when she finally looked up from the shovel, I made sure the spotlight was on. The dress code said, "Elegant evening attire." I wore closure. _ The invitation came from her, believe it or not. A cream envelope with silver calligraphy. RSVP requested. I almost laughed. The same woman who once said I wasn't built for drama had mailed me an engraved ticket to her own final act. An engagement party. Still wearing my last name. The venue was upscale. Overlooking the bay. Crystal chandeliers and rented joy. Guests sipping Prosecco like they weren't here to witness a soap opera in real time. I walked in late. Alone. In a suit she once bought me for a promotion dinner I never made it to because she forgot we had plans. Fitting. She didn't notice me at first. Too busy smiling for cameras, wrapped around Rory like a holiday scarf. She looked composed, but her eyes darted, always scanning. She didn't expect me to show, and definitely not looking like peace. The slideshow began. Childhood photos. High school dances. Cliché captions. Then, the clip. Not the one from the hotel. A different one. From our wedding. Her vow. No matter what comes, I choose you. Again. And again. Then a fade out. Then the hotel footage. Same woman. Different promise. Different man. The room fell into a stunned hush. I didn't flinch. Just watched as Rory's face changed from smug to ash. He didn't yell. He didn't cry. Just walked out the side door. And Naomi? She turned to the screen like maybe if she stared long enough, it'd rewrite itself. But it didn't. The truth doesn't take edits. She texted me. "You ruined me." _ She didn't call. Just sent texts. "You made your point. How could you? You ruined me." I didn't reply. She had told people I was controlling. Distant. Emotionally unavailable. But the footage said otherwise. So did the timeline. Her friends stopped replying to her stories. Her inbox, once an echo chamber of applause, went quiet. I heard from her sister. She's not eating. Not sleeping. I almost felt sorry. Almost. Then I remembered the nights I stayed awake, wondering why I wasn't enough. The meals I cooked that got cold. The hugs that went unanswered. The smiles that never returned. That wasn't love. That was me bleeding in silence while she painted herself the victim. No? She finally had to sit in it. No applause. No likes. No safety net. Just silence. Her father invited me to lunch. _ It was casual. A diner halfway between nowhere and what used to be our life. He didn't say much. Just stirred his coffee and asked, "So what's next?" I told him I'd filed for divorce. Quietly. Cleanly. No mess. No media. He nodded. Then he slid an envelope across the table. Inside, a copy of a new will. "She won't inherit the house," he said. "Not after this." I didn't argue. It wasn't my battle anymore. I wasn't interested in punishment. But legacy? That's something else entirely. He told me Naomi was spiraling. Job at risk. Mutual friends withdrawing. I warned her, he said. Told her, if you burn the wrong bridge, you might find yourself on an island. I finished my coffee and left the envelope on the table. I didn't need it. I already had what I came for. Myself. It wasn't a scream. It was a sentence. _ One line. Written by hand. On thick paper. Delivered through her door in the same cream envelope her engagement invitation had come in. I never left you. You left you. I signed it with no name. Just an old photo of us at the lake, folded once, and tucked inside. It was the one where she leaned on me like she meant it. Back when the smile was real. No threats. No confessions. No fight. Just a mirror held up to the woman who couldn't recognize her own reflection anymore. A week later, I heard she canceled the wedding. 2 weeks after that, she moved out of state. People asked if I'd forgiven her. I didn't answer. Because forgiveness isn't the same as forgetting. And sometimes the cleanest revenge is living a life they can't touch.